In 2005, an article in a small-town newspaper inspired Dennis Lundy to sacrifice a significant portion of his income to serve people he would likely never meet. The story featured a group of farmers from Conrad, Iowa, who were producing a crop for needy people thousands of miles away. Lundy believed that if he planted the idea of farming for a cause in the minds of friends, family, and fellow members of his church, together they could make a difference in the lives of those less fortunate.
I tried for a while to get somebody else to do it, and nobody would get interested, so I finally decided I guess it had to be me. Took it to our men's group at church, and we discussed it, and they were game, so we got it underway, and it's just worked every year since then. I feel God gave me what I have and the resources and the knowledge, and it's a good way to use what I was given to help other people.
Dear Lord, we ask you to bless these people again. We ask you to bless their work. We ask you to bless this crop, that it may be fruitful, so that people far away from here can know that you love them, and that there's people around here who love them too and are willing to do your work for them.
That divine calling was the genesis of an effort Lundy called Fields of Faith, but it was far from the first such effort for Foods Resource Bank, a Christian-based charitable organization that facilitates humanitarian projects in 34 countries. Foods Resource Bank supports operations like the one Lundy envisioned, which it identifies as growing projects, and it believes farmers play a pivotal role in their success.
All of a sudden it dawned on me, I hadn't talked to a farmer. And, I changed that. I began talking to farmers over a cup of coffee, and by April that year of 2000, then, we had 6 or 7 guys in different communities throughout the Midwest, upper Midwest, who wanted to do this. And so that sort of was the foundation then of the Foods Resource Bank.
Fields of Faith officially began when Lundy took 60 acres of his cropland and designated its annual output for charity. The call went out to the local community to donate time, money, and equipment to support the growing project. And the rural community, from seed companies to implement dealers to private citizens, responded. Lundy helped plant the initial crop on his Fields of Faith, which donated time from friends and neighbors. Despite the name, Foods Resource Bank does not provide any direct food relief. Instead, the nonprofit uses funds from its growing projects to build critical infrastructure in developing countries.
And you can probably just run right along that side if you want to.
And growing projects like Fields of Faith have the opportunity to decide where their charitable efforts will be put to work. Foods Resource Bank partners with organizations like Catholic Relief Services, Church World Service, and Lutheran World Relief to help with charitable projects all over the world. The projects range from efforts to improve irrigation projects in mountain villages to improving compost production in urban areas. Once a program is approved, Foods Resource Bank commits to funding the project for 3 to 5 years. And 90% of the funding for the efforts comes from growing projects like the one Fields of Faith has been conducting for the past decade. But that can be a double-edged sword. And the folks at Food Resource Bank are all too keen to the fact that the primary source of revenue, farming, often is volatile and unpredictable. The expenses for the project are kept separately to ensure accounting accuracy while tracking input costs. In years with favorable commodity prices like 2012 and 13, when severe drought pushed corn to $8 per bushel and soybeans above $13, the donation from 60 acres was substantial, despite higher than average production costs. But in leaner years, like 2014, when corn approached $3, Foods Resource Bank plans for dramatically less revenue.
That's why we call it a bank, so that because we have a lot of funds in the bank, so that our members know what monies there are that they can commit to. Because we know that our programming is going to be committing to 3 to 5 years. And so we want to make sure that that money's there, because we don't want to start programs that we can't fund.
Currently, more than 200 active growing projects contribute their production to Foods Resource Bank, and along with the agricultural community, celebrated helping the 1 millionth person lifted to sustainable living. Even after Foods Resource Bank takes control of the grain, Fields of Faith still has a few chores to complete, and its leaders begin planning the next crop, identifying potential areas of improvement, and choosing where they want their funds to be deployed and the manner in which their harvest is spent.
You know, some of them talk about needing to dig a well. Well, we don't have any idea what it's like to be thirsty. We don't have any idea what it's like to be hungry. So I can't, you know, to read about some of the things they're doing, how do you relate to that, you know, unless you've been there. But I do know it's helping people.
For Market to Market, I'm Paul Yeager.